Welcome to Best Fairy Tales. Tonight we take you to a quiet, cold winter night. A night when the world rejoices, while one little heart struggles to survive. This is not just a fairy tale. This is a story about poverty and hope, about cold and heat, about the transience of life, and about the light that sometimes shines only when everything seems lost. Make yourself comfortable, slow your breath, and let the words take you into a story that will be remembered for a lifetime. It was terribly cold. It was snowing. It was almost pitch dark. And it was evening, the last evening of the old year. In that cold and darkness, a poor little girl walked down the street, barefoot and without a hat. When she came out of the house, she had slippers. But what good was that to her? They were very large slippers, which her mother had worn up to that time. They were so large, and the poor girl lost her slippers as she hurried across the street because of two carriages that had overtaken her at a terrific speed. One slipper could not be found. The other was snatched up by a rascal and ran away with it. He thought it would be perfect for a cradle when he had children one day. And so the little girl went on with her tiny bare feet, which were all red and blue with the cold. She carried a lot of matches in her old apron, and she held a bundle in her hand. No one sold her anything all day. No one gave her any money. She crawled shivering with cold and hunger, a true picture of misery, poor creature. Snowflakes covered her long, fair hair, which fell in curls down her neck. But of course, she didn't even think about that now. Candles were flickering in all the windows, and it smelled so deliciously of roast goose, for, it was the new year. Yes, that's what she meant. In the corner formed by two houses, one of which jutted out more than the other, she sat down and curled up. She drew her little feet closer to her, but she was getting colder and colder, and she did not dare to go home, for she had not sold a single match and could not bring a single penny. Her father would certainly beat her, and it was cold in the house too, for there was only the roof above her, through which the wind whistled, although even the largest cracks were stopped up with rags and rags. Her little hands were almost numb with the cold. Oh! Just one match could give her immense comfort. If only she would dare to pull just one out of the bundle, light it against the wall, and warm her fingers with it. She took one out. Frist! How it blazed! How it burned! It was a warm, brilliant flame, like a candle. As she held her hands over it, it was a magical light. The little girl really seemed to be sitting before a large iron stove with polished brass legs and a brass ornament on the top. The fire burned with such blissful influence. It warmed her so sweetly. The little girl had already stretched out her legs to warm them too, but the little flame had gone out. The stove was gone. She had only the remains of a burnt match in her hand. She immediately rubbed the other against the wall. It shone brightly, and where the light fell on the wall became transparent like a veil, so that she could look into the room. A snow-white tablecloth was spread on the table. On it stood a beautiful china service, and the roast goose was smoking perfectly with a stuffing of apple and prunes. And what was even more wonderful to see was that the goose came down from the tray, staggering across the floor with the knife and fork in its breast until it reached the poor girl. When the match went out and there was nothing left but a thick, cold, damp wall. They struck another match. Now she was sitting under the most magnificent Christmas tree. It was even bigger and more decorated than the one she had seen through the glass door in the rich merchant's house. 1,000 lights were burning on the green branches, and the merry, colorful scenes, such as she had seen in the shop windows, were looking out at her. The girl stretched out her hands towards them when the match went out. The lights on the Christmas tree rose higher and higher. She now saw them like stars in the sky. One fell and made a long trail of fire. "Someone has just died," said the girl, because her old grandmother, the only person who loved her, and now she was gone, told her that when a star falls, a soul ascends to God. He struck another match against the wall. It shone again, and in that glow stood the old grandmother, so bright and shining, so gentle, and with so much love on her face. "Grandma!" cried the little girl. "Oh, take me with you. You disappear when the match goes out. You disappear like a warm oven, like a delicious roast goose, and like a beautiful Christmas tree." And she quickly rubbed the whole bundle of matches against the wall, because she wanted to be absolutely sure that she would keep her grandmother close to her. And the matches gave such a bright light that it was brighter than at noon. The grandmother had never been so beautiful and so tall before. She took the little girl in her arms, and they both flew away in splendor and joy so high, so very high, and then there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor fear up there. They were with God. A long pause. The sound of the wind comes again, but now more distant, more muffled. Then, the sound of the town bells announcing the beginning of a new day, quiet, crystalline, and a little sad. But in the corner, in the cold dawn, sat a poor little girl, with rosy cheeks and a smiling mouth, leaning against the wall, frozen to death, on the last evening of the old year. Stiff and stiff sat the child there with her matches, one bundle of which had been burned. She wanted to warm herself, said the people. No one had the slightest idea of what beautiful things she had seen. No one had even dreamed of the splendor in which she, with her grandmother, had entered the joys of the new year. And above, in a silence that surpassed all the stars, her grandmother, now no longer a shadow of memory, but real and eternal, kissed the girl's forehead. Their hands intertwined, one furrowed with age and work, the other small and furrowed by frost, but now both equally warm and full of strength. The dawn that flowed behind them was not only the light of a new day, but of a new existence. And as the townspeople woke in the street below and, in their haste, passed the tiny, still body in the corner, the two souls, now inseparable, walked toward a morning that would never end, where the snowflakes were no longer ice but glittering dust, and the sound that filled the air was not the cry of the wind, but a soft, joyful song that came from the very heart of immortality. And so, in that light that knows no sunset, her little hand, once so constrained by poverty, now reached out freely and caught one of the countless stars that shone like unquenchable flames in the firmament. The star flickered gently in her palm, turning into a small flame, not a consuming fire, but a warmth and an eternal fire. Her grandmother's hand gently covered hers, and together they held that light, which was now neither magical nor fleeting, but a part of themselves, eternal and unchanging. Far below, the earth continued its course. The snow gently covered the tracks of bare feet on the pavement, and the new day brought its worries and its joys, not knowing that in its very dawn a soul had found its eternal home. And for them, every moment was now a new year, every star a new match of hope, and the love that united them was warmer than all the ovens in the world, more nourishing than all the feasts, and brighter than all the Christmas trees that ever shone. Thank you for sticking around until the end. If this story touched you, subscribe to Best Fairy Tales and turn on the notification bell so more timeless stories can find their way to you. Good night.